All right, guys, I'm going to walk you through how to do this practice assignment and how to use Chrome Canvas. It's really easy. You just have to pay attention to what you're doing so you don't mess up. To find the app, just click over here on this button and expand it, and then scroll down until you find the app that looks like this that says Chrome Canvas, and then just open it up. Once you open it up, there you have two options. You can either do a new drawing or you can do a new from image. You're going to click on new from image. You should have already downloaded the practice image from Google Classroom. And so you're just going to go and open that up. And it should be in your EHS Art 2020 folder. So open that up and then open up the image. And so now you have your picture right here. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going in around the outlines of the image, and we're also going to be doing all of these details that's inside of there, all these lines and things like that. The more detail you put and the more line you use, the better the image is going to look. But let's just start off on how to use it. So over here, this little box here, you're going to click on it. And that's going to be our layers button. So layers just means that you can do different things on top of this image. You don't want to draw directly on the picture, because if you do, then you won't be able to turn the picture off and see your drawing. And let me show you what I mean by that. So I have a new layer right here, and I'm going to get just my pen tool right here, and I'm just going to kind of scribble right there. And so what happens when you turn a layer off using this little I button here, it'll turn the image off, and then you can just see the line drawing. And that's how we're going to see the contour lines on your self-portrait. So I'm going to turn that back on, and I'm just going to erase this layer. Well, let me get off of it. Well, I can't. I'm going to add another layer, and then I'm going to erase that layer, just like so. Okay, so you always want to work on top of the layer, and whatever layer has this little blue line here or the blue box around it is the layer that you're working on. And you can have multiple layers to work on. So all of these are different tools. They all do different things. I'm going to turn off the layer with the flower so you can kind of see what each tool does. So this is a pencil tool, and if you see it, it doesn't make a solid black line. Up here, you can change the color that you use for the tool. And then underneath it, you can change how big you want the line to be, like that. And then you can also change the opacity, which means how dark or light the line is going to be. And we're going to use that next week when we start doing other things to our self-portraits. This right here is the pen tool. This is the one that we're going to use the most. Turn it back on black. I'm going to, remember, you can change the size to whatever you want to change it to. And so let me show you what a light opacity looks like. It's going to make it the line barely there, like so. The marker tool, you can get bigger marks out of this one. You won't be using this one very often, and you can make your marks really big on this one. The chalk tool, you can make that one relatively big as well. And it's going to create kind of a texture like you're using chalk. And even when you layer it like that, you can get lighter spots and darker spots. And then you have your ever important eraser tool. You will definitely need this when you're working on it. So make sure that you utilize this tool. It is so important because you will mess up. I messed up so many times doing this. So make sure that you have this eraser tool and you know how to use it. Change the size to whatever you need it to, because you'll have some mistakes that are bigger than the other. And if your brush is too big, it might mess up some things that you might erase some things you don't want it to be erased. So that's how you use the tools. I would just take a minute or two on your own to kind of see what those tools are like. So I'm just going to create a new layer, and I'm just going to throw this layer away that we just did. So now I'm going to show you how to start your process. So you're going to make sure that you can see your flower, and we're going to work on top of this layer right here, the blue layer. And so you're going to use the pen tool, and you're going to use black. I guess for this particular assignment, you can use whatever color you like. And you want the size to be 20. That is going to be the size that we use, especially on our self-portrait. And then you're going to start making your marks. So you're going to just slowly, very slowly, start tracing around the flower. And so if you go slow, you're going to get better lines. Let me change the opacity. Do that again. Let me erase that first. So if you go very slowly, you're going to be able to get that line more. And you see, I'm kind of moving fast, and I'm not getting a very straight line. So go slower than what I'm doing. And then you can also make the image bigger, especially when you get to more detailed parts. And you can look at it closer at what you're doing. So on this one, I'm going to do slowly. And I'm going to make sure that I stay as straight as possible. And so now you can turn off the layer and you can see your lines. And so when you get done, you'll be able to see exactly what you're doing. So I'm going to pause for a second and do another leaf, and then I'm going to come back on the video so you can see. Okay, I worked a little bit more on the flower, and so now I'm going to go over here on the layers, and I'm going to turn the first layer off of the picture, and so now you can see what the outline is going to look like. And I hit this layer, but you can even go and do the inside details of those petals where it had the lines and start adding some more information. Once you start doing your self-portrait, that is important because we're not just doing the outline, we're also doing contour lines, which is that information that's inside of an object, like the bends, the folds, the creases, the change in color, the change in shadow. So all of those lines are important as well. We're not just doing the outlines. So I didn't do the whole thing because this is just a practice. I only want you to practice on this one before you start the new one of your self-portrait, so you'll know exactly what you're doing. So what I want to show you on this one is that you can work at different layers at different times, and then what you do on one layer stays on that layer, and what you do on another layer stays on that layer as well. So I'm going to use this erase tool, and I'll make it pretty big so you can see it obviously. And I'm going to try to erase these petals right here. But if you see over here, those petals aren't on this layer. So if I turn this off, those petals were part of this layer right here. So if I wanted to erase something on that layer from the outline, I'm going to have to click on that layer so I can actually do it. Let me show you. Like that. So make sure if you want to do or change something on the actual image that you're on the right layer. Okay, so with the erase tool, what I would like for you to do is to go back and check little things. So like this part right here, there's no reason that I can't go back with my erase tool and erase that. Right? You have all these little things that you can do to erase. You're going to definitely be using this on your face part. And if you, now that I have this zoomed in, you can see I didn't do a very great job on this. I kind of rushed it. And so if you did that, you have enough time to get this done. So I have parts like right here that aren't connected. I have overlying parts right here. When you do yours, make sure you take your time and you do it right so that it looks nice. Okay. Now, let's just say I'm done. This is how you're going to save it. So you come up here where it has the three dots. You're going to click on it and you're going to click save as image. But whatever is on your screen is how it's going to save. So if I have this layer open with the flower, that's exactly how it's going to save. But I don't want to see the flower. I just want to see the line work that you did. So I'm going to turn that layer with the flower off. And so what you see right now on the screen is the only thing that's going to save. So I'm going to go back up here, click save as image. And then I would click on where it says show in folder, because it's usually going to put it in your download folder. And just click it with 2 fingers. And then click on it where it says cut. Open your Google Drive up. Open your EHS Art 2020 folder. 2 fingers and click paste. And you're going to rename it. Go ahead and name it practice image. And since it's a different file from your other practice image, you can name it that. And now what you just saved, what you're seeing is what you're going to have saved. I'm going to have you guys share these with me on Friday. So make sure that you share it. Don't make sure you share it. Make sure that you save it. After you save it and you close out of the Chrome Canvas, you can always open up Chrome Canvas again. And it saves your project. So if you click right here, it's going to save what you did, and it'll have all your layers and everything. You do not have to go back to Google Drive to open up the image that you saved, because that's just an image now. You want to just open up your Chrome Canvas, and it's going to save all your projects here. So I would like for y'all to show y'all real quick my final one. This is my final one. This is the one that you're going to be doing with your self-portrait. So if you look over here, I have a lot of layers because I've been practicing doing things. And this is the original image, and that's with the original image off. So this is kind of a look at what you're going to be doing. But right now, I don't want you to worry about that. I want you to just practice on your flower. And then once you feel comfortable with your flower, then move on to your final with your self-portrait. And that's all I have for you guys. Talk to you soon.